To the Sinaloa cartel, this was no ordinary raid. It was a message, a declaration of power. After months of US crackdowns choking their profits, this strike was meant to humiliate America, to prove that no border is safe. Their target, a small patrol station in Arizona, just a few steel buildings, but symbolically powerful. Destroying it would send a political shockwave across the nation, a headline that would spread fear far beyond the desert. And so, they prepared the perfect plan. Infrared cameras along the border were quietly disabled after key insiders were bribed. Leaked CBP patrol schedules revealed gaps in coverage. Local collaborators were paid off, guaranteeing 3 hours of silence, enough time to attack and escape. The attack route was chosen with surgical precision. A narrow mountain pass rarely traveled, a blind spot in Mexican surveillance. Everything seemed flawless. In the lead vehicle, the capo gripped his radio and whispered, 15 minutes from now, the perfect plan becomes reality. His words triggered dry, sinister laughter that rippled through the convoy. Far away in Culiacan, cartel bosses sat in a smoke-filled room, watching an electronic map as their vehicles moved closer to the border. Perfect, one murmured. No one can stop us. But reality was not as they believed. At 7,000 meters above, an unmarked MQ-9 Reaper drone silently circled the desert sky. No radar ping, no signal, no warning. Its infrared sensors tracked every heat signature, every engine, every man in the convoy. 20 glowing trails on a black screen. Every 8 seconds, encrypted data packets flashed to a command center in San Diego. GPS coordinates, speed, real-time imagery. In an underground bunker, US officers watched silently as the data poured in. Then, a single message blinked red across their screens. Target acquired. An officer smirked. Our perfect plan is our perfect trap. The convoy rumbled on, engines echoing off canyon walls. The sicarios grinned behind their masks, minutes away from what they thought would be victory. But every word spoken over their radios had already been intercepted by US SIGINT teams. Every movement logged, every action predicted. The hunters were no longer the hunters. They were prey, root, all in the hands of the enemy. At a nearby pass, a Navy SEAL team had been waiting for 36 hours, perfectly camouflaged, their silenced M4A1 rifles aimed at the road. Along the path, Claymore mines were set. In the rear, 2 AH-64 Apache helicopters, lights off, engines primed. At the forward base, JLTVs carrying Switchblade UAVs had locked coordinates. Everything was ready. The cartel called it the perfect plan, but in truth, they were walking straight into the perfect trap. And as the final wheel rolled into the pass, the gates of death would close with no escape. The Sonora Desert remained silent. But on the control, screens in the San Diego command bunker, that silence shattered. Glowing red streaks stood out clearly on the infrared imagery. Not civilian vehicles, not small-scale smuggling. This was a large-scale armed assault. 20 armored pickup trucks, over 150 Sicarios machine guns, RPG C4 explosives. The perfect plan the cartel trusted absolutely had been seen through from above. The MQ-9 Reaper hovered at an altitude of over 7,000 mi. Not firing, not moving, only watching. Every 8 seconds, the Reaper drone beams back encrypted data. Thermal images, GPS coordinates, speed, direction, cross-referenced instantly with ground radar. On the screen, the cartel convoy appears in chilling clarity, 20 red dots, glowing like prey under a microscope, moving steadily toward their doom. Inside the underground command bunker, US officers sit in absolute silence. No chatter, no panic, only the relentless tick of the countdown clock. On the electronic map, a red circle flashes, the kill box, drawn at a narrow road near the Arizona border. Once the convoy enters, every escape route will slam shut. the order is given. On the mountainside, Navy SEALs lie motionless beneath camouflage netting, fingers curled around the triggers of suppressed M4A1 rifles. Claymore mines line the path, armed and ready. In the rear, Switchblade kamikaze drones hum softly as their launchers prime. In the low sky, 2 AH-64 Apaches sit in a predatory hover, lights off, engines purring, waiting for the fire command. Farther back, HIMARS rocket batteries have already locked their coordinates, concealed beneath desert netting like coiled vipers. Meanwhile, the convoy keeps rolling. Each truck maintains a perfect 40-meter gap, the engines growling as they echo through the canyon. On the UAV screen, they look like a parade in the night, a parade marching straight into death. 3 minutes to kill box. The command center tightens focus. No one blinks. The 20 glowing dots are almost inside. 2 kilometers. The Switchblades launch, skimming just above the sand, their small electric motors whispering death. The Apaches tilt their noses forward, pilots' hands hovering over the fire controls. In the canyon, the first trucks roll into the pass, their tires grinding on stone. The trap is seconds from closing. Sound echoed sharply through the canyon. On the screens in the command bunker, the red dots finally converged. Every vehicle trapped inside the glowing circle. No more escape. No more time. The perfect plan had reached its end. At 5:42 a.m., the eastern sky was still black, only a faint glow cresting the mountains. In the narrow pass near the Arizona border, the night air was heavy, broken only by the roar of 20 armored trucks rolling nose to tail. Then, the final order came. One encrypted word flashed across every headset: execute. Instantly, the desert exploded. From the mountainside, 3 Switchblade drones plunged like hunting falcons. The first slammed straight through the windshield of the lead command vehicle, detonating in a blinding flash. The entire truck was shredded, the capo and his lieutenants consumed before they could even shout a warning. Seconds later, the second Switchblade spiraled into the convoy's rear, destroying the last vehicle and sealing their fate inside the canyon. The third hit dead center, igniting crates of RPGs and ammunition in a chain reaction of fire. The convoy erupted in chaos. Engines stalled, men screamed, doors flew open. Then the Apaches came alive. Rotors thundered as the sky lit up with Hydra rockets and 30mm chain gun fire, tearing through vehicles one by one. Armored trucks exploded in orange fireballs, showering the canyon walls with burning debris. Claymore mines detonated next, ripping through gunmen scrambling for cover, their silhouettes vanishing in the flashes of light. Within 30 seconds, the narrow pass had become an inferno. Trucks burned, ammunition cooked off, the canyon echoing with deafening blasts. The surviving Sicarios returned fire blindly into the night, but they were already surrounded. From the rocks, Navy SEALs emerged like ghosts, M4A1s whispering suppressed bursts, dropping, Cartel fighters one by one with surgical precision. By the first minute, half the convoy was destroyed. By the third minute, there was no formation left, only wreckage and scattered gunfire. This was no battle. This was an execution. Sound echoed sharply in the narrow pass. On the map, the red dots converged, trapped with no escape. At 5:42 a.m., under a sky still shrouded in darkness, the Sinaloa convoy rolled into the kill box, unaware that their perfect plan was seconds from destruction. At 5:42 and 13 seconds, the command came: execute. The first wave struck like a thunderclap. 3 Switchblade drones plunged from the sky, the first smashing through the windshield of the lead command vehicle, turning the cabin into a fireball and severing the head of the snake. The trailing vehicles jammed together, trapped in the canyon, piling up in chaos. Then the claymores erupted. Over 4,000 steel balls ripped through the air in a storm, shredding armor, glass, and flesh within 50 meters. Vehicles flipped, fuel tanks ignited, and screams were swallowed by the roar of explosions. Before the Sicarios could recover, the Apaches appeared like specters, unleashing hellfire missiles and 30mm cannon bursts. A single hit turned an ammo truck into a colossal fireball, setting off secondary blasts of RPGs and ammunition. The canyon lit up like daylight as a sea of flames devoured the convoy. In less than 120 seconds, 15 vehicles were burning wrecks. Any Sicario who tried to escape was picked off by sniper fire or cut down by M240 machine guns hidden in the rocks. Those who fled toward the exit met the final blow, a HIMARS salvo that turned the only escape route into a crater of fire. No one was getting out. By 5:48 a.m., the desert fell eerily quiet. The last explosions faded, replaced by the crackle of burning fuel and the pop of cooking ammunition. Inside the command bunker, a single message flashed: target neutralized. The results were staggering. 20 armored vehicles destroyed or incinerated, 20+ Sicarios killed instantly, 2+ wounded or captured, 0 US casualties. From the air, infrared, the cameras captured the aftermath. What had once been a convoy became a graveyard of twisted steel and smoke columns rising thousands of feet into the sky. The perfect plan had become the perfect trap. By sunrise, the Sonora desert glowed red with fire, the ground littered with RPG fragments, shattered crates, and charred body armor. The Cartel's elite strike force lay motionless, a $40 million operation reduced to silence in under 3 minutes. In Culiacan, Cartel bosses said nothing. Their propaganda channels went dark. No statements, no narco ballads, no funerals, only absence. Local authorities called it a vehicle collision, but satellite imagery told the world the truth. An entire armed wing of the cartel had been annihilated. As dawn spread over the desert, vultures circled overhead. The only sound was the wind carrying smoke into the sky, a haunting reminder that when you enter America's kill box, no one escapes. This was more than a battle. It was a textbook case of asymmetric warfare. A handful of special forces, drones, and precision strikes wiping out a multi-million-dollar attack for less than 5% of its cost. The lesson was clear. No matter how well-funded, armored, or confident the enemy may be, technology, intelligence, and discipline will always triumph over arrogance. When the sun finally broke over Sonora, all that remained was a smoldering ruin, a warning carved into the desert that no plan is perfect when facing the United States. But one question remains. Is this the end of the cartel's ambitions, or just the beginning of a darker, deadlier chapter? What do you think? Can technology and precision alone keep America safe from future threats? Share your thoughts below, and subscribe for more gripping stories of war, strategy, and the hidden battles that shape our world.